Our film opening is called Fallacy. It is a drama-based genre that explores the conventions of a typical drama film. We used our primary research in our questionnaire, asking 20 people a variety of questions that will help us when we initially started our task. Within the questionnaire, we wanted to establish our target audience and ask direct questions to do with our chosen genre. We established the main conventions of a drama film and incorporated it within the questionnaire. Conventions included dramatic storyline, a journey, character development, conflict, and real-life situation. The majority opted for real-life situation and a dramatic storyline. The conventions of a dramatic storyline is heavily portrayed in our opening clip. We are introduced to action as our protagonist breaks into the car. We challenge the conventions of a dramatic storyline as it is typically used to gain emotional attachment and move the audience, such as £7, where we were first introduced to Will Smith crying and he emotionally captures us into the film. Instead, we made it more fast-paced with the cross-cutting of events until we meet dialogue between Jay and Sarah. We find Jay angry towards Sarah as he needs her to be watching him as he searches Alex's car. The only clue we are left with is when he says, "Look, I'm coming to look for one thing and I'm going to find it." We grab the audience's attention before revealing the cause of Jay's frustration in searching the car. It isn't until the conflict occurs as our antagonist is heading back to the car where we are emotionally attached and in hope that our protagonist Jay finds what he's looking for and doesn't get caught as we see he's left his phone in the car. No drama can occur without conflict as this works in correlation with a dramatic storyline. We wanted to include a real-life situation into our storyline. This is portrayed through the characters and the setting. Although it is not evidence from the opening clip, the film includes conventions of crime and is about revenge. It starts to make sense through Jay and Sarah's dialogue. A key convention to a drama genre is a climax point. We use this at the end of our opening clip. Similarly to Disturbia, where the antagonist realises that the female character is following him in the shop. When we use the climax point at the end is it will be more effective in impacting the audience and they would want to see more. As Alex is on his way back from the shop, we see Jay is about to leave, but his phone is still in the car ringing. So as the audience, we're left in suspense. We do not know what happens next and whether Jay does get caught, and his phone is still in the car. We develop the climax point by causing several problems to occur before we meet the pivotal point. The conflict occurs as Sarah, our protagonist's assistant, loses Alex, leaving Jay in a dangerous situation. Secondly, Jay refuses to take Sarah's advice in hope to capture what he's looking for. And thirdly, he's left his phone in the car. Each situation that has occurred builds on tension and the pace of the clip increases until we finally arrive to our climax point. Our opening clip Fallacy represents typical social groups, such as age, through our protagonist and antagonist. Our antagonist Alex is portrayed to be much older and a much more mature character, in comparison to our protagonist Jay, who is younger. This is shown through their costumes that they are both wearing. For example, Alex is dressed formally with his long black jacket, whereas Jay is wearing more casual wear with his jeans and jacket. We also know that Alex is older as we are aware he owns a car. Jay represents the younger conventional protagonist because stereotypically we would think of the younger character to be breaking into the car. Alex, who plays the protagonist, is represented through his costume, which is black, representing evil and darkness. When we first see him come out of his car, we see him walk on a red path. This could suggest he's walking into a dangerous path. This reflects the type of character he is and the motives he holds. Alex is portrayed as dominating as he gets back to the car. No obstacles have occurred in his way. His behaviour in the store indicates he's up to something and he knows he's being followed. For example, when he's looking at Sarah on the phone. This could suggest it is a counter-type as it's normally the protagonist who is a dominating force and overcomes the problems. Yet from the opening, we would not know if he was caught by Alex. Our film opening Fallacy represents differences in gender. Jay, our protagonist, drives the plot, as he is successful in finding the evidence. However, he leaves the phone in the car. His character is portrayed as obsessive, and this drives him to revenge in wanting to find the evidence in Alex's car. The red light on Jay's face suggests he's in danger, as Alex could return back to the car. Another interpretation is that he's under great pressure and holds a great amount of anger within him. However, he is represented as a protagonist who's intelligent as he has constructed a plan. He waits until Alex leaves and sets Sarah on a roll to follow him, whereas Sarah is shown as weak as she fails to complete Jay's task following Alex. She takes a typical role of taking a minor task in comparison to the male protagonist, who is in a far more dangerous position. Although her role in Jay's task is vital to his success, this represents a countertype, as Jay is relying on the help from Sarah instead of the female character solely depending on the protagonist. However, she fails to keep track of Alex, and as a consequence, she has to warn him. As the audience, we see it from her point of view, in a state of confusion. However, she holds no power, as Jay ignores her advice. Therefore, this could suggest, as a female opinion, it is not valuable in Jay's eyes. Yet, she has to take orders from him when following Alex. Her costume is brown and subtle as she's hiding away in the background. This is portrayed in our clip as it is more male-dominating.
As a group, we decided that Film 4, a British company, would be the best production company for our drama film. We wanted our film to be an independent movie as it's low budget. Film 4's ethos, as it states, they support international and independent films, and in particular British films. We thought Film 4 would be the best company to produce our film, as we researched the film company and found out they had created lots of low-budget films and independent British films. The film company we thought could distribute our film was Fox Searchlight Pictures. This is a subsidiary company of Fox that focuses on encouraging and supporting independent and British films, while taking part in the production and distribution, while specialising in drama-based genre films. Our film opening is an independent and British, while being of the drama genre, making it a perfect match for Fox. Fox Searchlight Pictures has produced and distributed a film previously with our production company. The film was SLUMDOG Millionaire. We are planning on aiming our film opening at teenagers aged around 15 to 18, but our film would be a 12A, so really it's plus and minus 3 years to make it 12 to 21. Though we won't be isolating anyone above that, as there are a few aspects an older generation might find appealing. Also, we got the highest response rate from 15 to 18-year-olds in our survey. What this means for our film opening is it needs to be eventful and catching the audience's attention early on, as we are aiming at teenage males. As we asked what gender people would like to see on stage, people said males, so we are having me and Sunny act as the leading roles. Our survey may be biased for age, but all the participants we asked to fill in the survey were aged from 15 to 18, which guaranteed we would be making a film opening to people around this age. We also took a lot of influence from Disturbia, meaning our target audience would be similar to that film. And chances are those people that enjoy Disturbia would enjoy our opening. For example, our aisle scene and using obstacles in the way to record really made the audience feel like the antagonist was being spied on. There are stereotypes in place, such as the antagonist.
The main thing we used in order to attract our audience was the research that we carried out prior to creating our opening. We looked and went over our questionnaire results that we got our target audience to answer. Looking at these results, it gave us a better idea of what our target audience wanted, so it would help us as we would try and incorporate their preference into our opening, resulting in them finding it more appealing. For example, one of the questions we asked was, what gender would you prefer to see dominating a drama scene? A majority answered with males. So we took that on board and made sure that we had 2 males in our opening who dominated the scenes. Another example of a question is, what characters would you like to see in a drama film? They had the choice between a protagonist, antagonist, or both. Most of them chose both, and so we applied that answer to our opening by having both a clear protagonist and antagonist. By using these results, they helped us make our opening more appealing to our target audience. Another way we attracted our audience was to do with the way we edited and put the film together. The first thing we did was look at other films of the same genre. This helped us embody the essential things and mostly the editing techniques, having that fast, snappy and exciting opening in order to hold the audience attention. For example, we looked at one of the scenes in Blade Runner where there was a lot of cross-cutting and fast-paced editing. This all helps us attract our audience purely because it is a fast, dramatic action feel, whilst building tension, and for our target audience, which is mostly males of between the age of 12 and 21, so it is important to instantly grab their attention in order for them to have an interest in the rest of the film, and this was done by the editing we used.
The technologies we have come across in the process of this production have varied between the technical devices that were used to film the production and the Final Cut Pro editing software used to edit the film opening. During the process of editing, we had used many techniques and skills learnt from Final Cut Pro to cut and edit the footage recorded from the hardware used to film. We used the Final Cut Pro to order our scenes and so that they could be organised and edited to a film opening standard. Final Cut Pro allowed us to discover what editing skills we needed to use to edit our film opening. We also came across a lot of different ways to use our camera to film our product. We used many different techniques such as using different camera angles and using the lens to come in and out of focus at appropriate times. We came out of focus on Alex's shots to keep his character discreet.
Since our preliminary task, we feel like our skills have developed and become a lot more better in the sense that the techniques that we have used for our preliminary task were simple, and although we managed to put together a quick clip, including the match on action, 180-degree rule and shot reverse shot that we were told to do, it was still very basic. By getting to grips with the different functions of Final Cut Pro X, which was software we used, we were able to create a much more intriguing and professional look for our film opening. With our preliminary task, it was simple and a small creative assignment given to us. Having said that, we took away vital points that were needed to apply to our real task of putting together a film opening. This included planning, for example, storyboards that needed completing before starting anything, both rough and neat ones. Also putting together the scripts and things such as a shot list. Majority of the planning for our preliminary task was important, and this is something we took away and made sure all of our planning for our opening clip Fallacy was completed and checked to ensure we had an achievable and realistic idea that we could execute. It also allowed us to work on Final Cut Pro, such as putting our scenes in order and using the blade tool to cut up the scenes. It gave us a chance to get familiar with the new Final Cut Pro. However, it was easy to use and it ensured that when we started our initial task, we were able to use it efficiently. We had an advantage with our actual opening clip, and this was freedom, as we were given a lot more room for ideas in terms of genre, storyline, and much more varied ideas for shots and angles, rather than following a brief. One thing we needed to complete for our preliminary task was continuity, although this was different to our opening clip, which included cross-cutting between events. We'd come a long way from our preliminary task. We were now able to edit new techniques after experiencing a variety of techniques for our preliminary task. For example, in our opening clip Fallacy, we created a jump cut of our protagonist to emphasize a long amount of time spent searching the car, as well as the match on action shot when Alex steps out of the car. This shows continuity of the character as we watch the journey unfold. We were able to use techniques from our preliminary task and incorporate it when needed into our film.